and we have calculated that if we take the dune buggy from Los Angeles to New York, we would roughly use 22 gallons of...
What if I told you that a man invented a car that could run entirely on water? Yes, water. And just days after revealing it, he was dead. What if his death wasn't an accident, but something far more sinister? In the 1990s, Stanley Meyer claimed he had cracked the code to free the world from oil dependence. But before he could share his groundbreaking discovery with the world, he mysteriously died. Was it a natural cause, or was someone willing to kill to keep this world-changing technology hidden forever? Stanley Meyer wasn't your average inventor. A man obsessed with finding sustainable energy solutions, Meyer was convinced that he had discovered the key to solving the world's energy crisis. In the 1990s, when the world was waking up to the devastating environmental consequences of fossil fuels, Meyer's invention could not have been more timely. He invented a device called the water fuel cell, which, according to him, allowed vehicles to run purely on water. No gasoline, no oil, just water. Meyer's idea seemed like magic. The device, he claimed, could separate the hydrogen from the oxygen in water and use that hydrogen as fuel for a car's engine. And he didn't just talk about it, he demonstrated it. Meyer showed how a dune buggy could run on water instead of gasoline in front of investors, engineers, and journalists. This wasn't a hoax. It looked like the real deal. For a world dependent on oil and gas, it sounded like a miracle. A car that runs on water? It could change everything. But here's where things get interesting. The more Meyer demonstrated his technology, the more people started asking questions. The scientific community was skeptical. Water-powered cars? How could that work? Experts quickly pointed out a fundamental issue: thermodynamics. The laws of energy conservation state that it takes more energy to split water into hydrogen and oxygen than you can get from burning the hydrogen. In simple terms, Meyer's invention seemed to defy the very laws of physics. Meyer insisted he had found a way around that. But to most scientists, his explanations didn't hold up. Was Meyer a genius, a man who'd cracked the code of clean energy? Or was he simply a master of illusion, running a well-crafted scam? As the controversy grew, Meyer's demonstrations became even more fascinating and more suspicious. Then, just as Meyer was about to present his technology to a group of investors, people who could help him bring his invention to the world, he died. But not just any death. Meyer's death was shocking, mysterious, and downright strange. It was the evening of March 20th, 1998. Meyer was at a dinner with his brother Stephen when suddenly he started choking. According to Stephen, Meyer gasped out, "They poisoned me," before collapsing at the table. Despite frantic efforts to save him, Stanley Meyer was dead by the end of the night. The official cause of death? A cerebral aneurysm, a rupture of a blood vessel in the brain. But was that the whole story? Meyer's final words were chilling. "They poisoned me." Could he have known something was coming? Was his sudden death a tragic accident, or something more sinister? The most popular theory: he was murdered. Think about it. If Meyer's water-powered car worked, and there's still debate about whether it did, it could have changed the entire global energy market. The oil industry, the most powerful industry in the world, could lose its grip on the global economy. Gasoline, oil, and coal would have been obsolete. Could powerful forces, corporations, governments, maybe even people in the energy sector, have silenced Meyer before he could expose the truth? Was his death not an accident, but a deliberate move to protect the status quo? Despite Meyer's brother's claim that he was poisoned, the police investigation found no foul play. The cause of death was ruled a natural cerebral aneurysm, and no one was ever charged. But that didn't stop the questions from piling up. Why did Meyer suddenly die after unveiling his technology? Why did he say he was poisoned? And why did he die so suddenly, so unexpectedly? Some argue that his death was simply a tragedy, a natural medical condition that struck at the wrong time. But others believe that Meyer's water-powered car threatened powerful interests, and those interests would stop at nothing to keep Meyer from going public with his invention. Was Stanley Meyer a fraud or a martyr? In the years following his death, many tried to replicate Meyer's technology, but none succeeded in producing the same results he claimed. Some even said they had recreated his water fuel cell. But the scientific community still debates whether his technology was a legitimate breakthrough or an elaborate hoax. But the questions don't stop there. What if Meyer really did have a working prototype? What if his invention was truly groundbreaking? Could we be driving water-powered cars today, with a world that doesn't rely on oil? And if that's the case, who benefited from his death? Today, the story of Stanley Meyer remains an enigma.